Oh, here you go. Good?
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail. Yeah, looks sick. Good deal.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that pulled me in.
Beautiful.
Oh my.
That's a big
That's a
fish.
big fish, dude. Limp! That's what I've been waiting for all day.
That's over 6.
Felt that bite.
Damn, I think low and slow is the way to go, eh, baby?
First big of the year on.
The thing I'm about to tie on.
Get him, get him.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Calm down. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Yeah, dude!
Dude.
Pounds, 11 ounces.
Oh my god, please get the net. Please, 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 please get the net.
I got you, buddy. Oh my god.
I got you. That was the weirdest bite ever.
Oop.
That was a good one? Yep.
Sure, feels like it.
Sure is.
I can't turn her head, bud. Holy sh! What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
The second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Big baits, big fish. There we go, 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Let's go. Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10". Woo-hoo-hoo. Little fatty.
Oh my god. If I can land this fish. Holy sh! 5.06. Sick. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy sh! God. What a beast. Dude, that's it, that's it. I'm 4 pounds smaller. I need a picture. Sorry.
Oh wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy. Trailers, what's getting it done? Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable. That's a 4.
He's still swimming.
There we go. That's a big fish. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes! 414 though. Gee. Not too shabby. No way. That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight?
Hello, lake trout.
Lake trout. We're talking about
ice fishing.
ice fishing. Buddy, coworker Brian said, I'm going to go ice fishing. I was like, what? That seems crazy.
Trying to get him into it. He's like, oh, just let me know what I need to get for tip-ups. I'm like, dude, I got you. Where we're going, we only need one.
Got about a little bit of, yeah, actually between 2 of us, I know I've got 5 tip-ups. I think, how many do you have? You must have like way too many.
Too much. I don't know. I don't know. I know in my sled right now I have like 6 or 7. And in the garage I have probably another 10 or 15 of them that are all broken.
Well, then just in jigging rods, I mean, I got the 2 for my kids, but then myself, I think I have 5 now.
I think I only have 2 now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say but I bought all that stuff off of John, the owner of Wicked Custom Rods, when he moved down to Georgia, and I was like, I'll just take them all because whatever I don't take, I'll just let Andrew take. It's like, they're gonna get used one way or another. So, we're gonna go out, we're gonna grab everything. How often do we go out somewhere ice fishing? Like, with the exception of like afternoon trips, that we don't usually have like a ton of people with us. So I was like,
well, unless I'm going by myself, like I usually do.
Well, yeah. No, but when you and I go together,
yeah, it's usually a couple people.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one time we went to that small pond, there was 18 of us. Granted, like, there was a handful of those people were part of a different group. We didn't know was going to be there. We went there with Kyle, we went with Travis. There's a spot where I got the 2 6s last year.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it was either 40 rats or 1 giant.
Yeah.
And there was 18 of us, and we all maxed out our tips. So 18 times 5, quick math, 80 tip-ups. We had half that pond covered.
Yeah, it was
One flag.
pretty crazy. Yeah, it was kind of dumb. I was jigging up a bunch of panfish, so that was kind of cool. That's about it.
Yeah. Josh, I tip up seagulls trapping, not fishing. Dude, that's the hardest thing I have that I struggle with when it comes to ice fishing is I hate being stationary because it's the polar opposite of what you do when you're out bass fishing, and that's always the hardest thing that I've struggled with. But tell you what
Grub used to say, each hole is a cast.
this is true. You drill a lot of damn holes. Well, that's why, man, I would kill to have a 4-wheeler because then like I would do it like our buddy Travis did. And I would set up the 4-wheeler just to be like a mobile unit.
Steve's selling a snowmobile.
I don't want a snowmobile.
$800.
I'd rather have a quad.
Anybody want a snowmobile? Steve S is selling a Rev chassis, whatever MXZ 800 for $800. You probably need to do a carb clean and stuff. It's sat all year, so.
Well, it still sounds like a deal.
Mm-hmm. So I have one jig rod for like the teeny tiny little jig rods, a little small one for panfish and whatever. And then I just bought a hot rod. It's 40-inch, 42-inch medium heavy for Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited.
Well, I mean, if we actually get good ice this year up on Champlain, and I hate to say it, but at the same time, like it's, whatever. It's New England, it's winter, it's going to happen, right? We can't keep getting these warmer than average winters. Eventually it's going to come around and kick our ass. But I do know that like last year and the year before, we were supposed to go with DJ. He keeps inviting us. It's like, dude, you got to come to Champlain for Lakers. I'm like, well, let's do it.
So
but
bad.
the last 2 years, there was one opportunity I could have gone. I was sick, so I didn't go. And then all last year, like there wasn't any safe ice out there in this spot. And then there's the other part. He's like, it's like a mile walk out. And I'm like, I'm lazy.
All you got to do is bring a backpack with a couple jig rods and you're good to go.
Yeah, I know. I'll do it one of these days. It's going to happen.
I run one tip up for rainbows. And then I go way far out. I should probably bring binoculars so I can see my tip up. But
yeah, after you get your prescription filled for your glasses.
true. Yeah.
I know. Ice fishing does not really thrill me either, Mark. The only thing that thrills me about it really is like thinking about weird trips like this with Andrew and taking my kids out. My kids love it. So that makes it more exciting for me.
I like going out there because I know I'm going for trout. I have a soft spot for trout. And I always go out, and whenever I do go out to this one pond, there's smallies and large and Lakers there. I buy a Delmonico steak, and I season the absolute bejesus out of it. And I wait for like an hour or two, and then then I'll start cooking it slowly on the nice frying pan over a little propane, one single flame. It works. It comes out really good.
That is amazing. That's honestly like that is the best part about ice fishing with a group of friends is the food aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Like really, I just need to bribe Kyle. Like I should just, like, you know how farm stands, they have this like credit thing
burger,
that you do?
Turkey sausage and venison and all.
I need to do like like farms, local farms have this little credit system, right? Like you go and you buy like a little debit card for the farm, right? And you give them like $500 up front for the season. That helps them offset their costs for the year. And you get this little, like basically gift card to shop with when all the veggies come in. You just go in whenever you want and you keep using it till it's empty and you buy more if you want. I need to do that with Kyle. Just give him like $200 up front at the beginning of the season. Just be like, I'm prepaying for all my food I'm going to eat when we go out ice
if
fishing.
I get a deer this year, I'll give you a bunch of meat. How about that?
Yes. I actually saw it. Josh said, I got 2 aqua views for my kids in 2021. But we've yet to have decent ice, but I'm not complaining because that just means I keep fishing for the boat. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at too. Like the last 2 years. Yeah, we'll do more ice fishing. And it's like, we've just had more and more time to be in the boat all winter. So it's like, okay, well, eventually we get there. But all right, enough ice fishing.
Yeah, I go ice fishing Saturdays and we go on the boat Sundays. So
yes.
it's kind of neat.
Yeah, Alec, exactly. And then there's that. You spend all that money on it, and then we have had like no ice lately. It's crazy. Oh my God, Carly, you're amazing. I'll come cook on the ice for you guys. That would be the greatest thing.
She does pastrami sandwiches, and they're wicked
we're
good.
going to be doing a whole lot of ice fishing this winter. Sean, didn't you say you want to lose weight this winter? Yeah.
I started ice fishing though, so.
All right, moving on. So first off, apologies. I'm not sure if we're going to make it a little more than an hour tonight. That's my goal. I'm not necessarily sick, but I'm still recovering. I went to the doctor finally on Monday. They have no idea what's going on. I got antibiotics. I got an inhaler. I still haven't heard back on the chest x-rays. I don't know if I have had walking pneumonia or whatever. And I my right friggin' here, just between everything, I'm not really sure what's going on, but the pain is already starting to build. So in the next half an hour, if you see me start to roll back, I'm in agony. So there's that. Let's talk about some good news before we get into the bulk of the discussion for the night. I pick up my boat on Friday, and I am super excited. Not like the Skeeter, but the new to me boat.
It's about damn time.
Dude, and I'm so excited. And in all fairness, the only delays that have been incurred with the new to me boat have been entirely my fault. Because when looking at the boat, trying to figure out what I was going to do, I had a dual stack mount, but it was a bolt to the deck over the pedal. And talking to Richie down at Thayer's, he was like, well, your boat, you get a BBT bracket, it actually goes to the bow plate now. And I was like, oh, yes, please. So I had to get that ordered, and that took a little bit of time. Plus, they built it up a little bit higher because I'm 6'2". So having it up a little bit higher, especially for the forward-facing sonar and then the 360, it'll make my life a lot easier. And I have a size 14 foot. So couple that with big snow boots, it makes things difficult in the winter. So that was step one. And then step two, I realized after that, I was like, oh, so the boat comes with a really good travel cover, which I've never had a good one. And I was like, oh, crap, I'm going to have to get that modified. Not just because I'm going, the boat I bought had a 47-inch Ultrex. I put my 52-inch Ghost on it. My Ghost has Mega 360, so that sticks up. And then I got the Cornfield Crappie Live Sweep hanging off the other side. That sticks up. And then I got the dual graph mount up on the bow. I was like, dude, do you do alterations, modifications on the cover? He's like, yep, we can handle that too. I'm like, okay, just please get it all done.
Oh, they're doing it there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Which is awesome. So everything's just getting done. So when I get it, everything's mounted, everything's all set. Cover will be done. I literally won't have to do anything with one exception. Because in my Skeeter, I had 4 batteries, 2 for the trolling motor, 2 for all my electronics, and the 2 for electronics were set up in parallel. The new boat has 4 batteries, but I'm switching the Ghost to a 36 volt. So I've got 1 for electronics. And before I added the HDS 16 with the active target, we were running out of power just from Mega and everything. So I'm going to need that other battery put in. So I'm going to do that Saturday. Andrew's going to go over and double check on me, make sure I did it right. We'll see how it is.
Should be easy enough to do.
Yeah. Josh, that was one of the discussions that we had have someone other than the dealer do it, like Bass Fishing Electronics. That was the plan, but ended up working out that Thayer's is able to do everything for me in one shot while I was down there. And I rolled most of it into the loan. The rest I'm paying cash. If I wanted Steve to do it, it was going to further delay everything I was doing. And I've never heard anything bad about Richie. So I was like, nope, screw it, dude. I'm going to let him do it. And I don't think there's going to be anything else I need to do. I don't know. Remains to be seen. All I know is that the boat is going to Bass Fishing Electronics at some point over the winter. And Raptors are first for the upgrade list. And then just a bunch of cleanup on wiring from factory issues, if there are anything in there. I trust Andrew, Steve, and Brian just to tell me what I need. And all I know is that it's going in, it's going to get looked at, and I'll get whatever work done is necessary between now and tournament season, because I've got my eyes on much bigger tournaments this year. Probably going back to the BFL. I'm leaning heavily on fishing the Toyota Series, also in Champlain. Might try for that Bass Nation, National Regional. Not sure on that because I don't know what the cutoff date's going to be. It might interfere with the Toyota Series. And after that, there was something else I saw later in the year that I was really intrigued by. Oh, then there's the SCQT, the New Hampshire State Team Qualifying Tournament for Bass Nation. That's up on Champlain. I'm definitely doing that.
That could be fun.
Yeah, right out of Apple Island. You kidding me? It's our backyard, man. That's our playground. We know that area like a back of our hand. Mm-hmm. You should go.
What, do it?
Yeah, if you don't have a boat, you should do it as a non-boater. Because I can guarantee you, 99% of the people that are going to fish that are going to be all good dudes you would be very happy to fish in the back of the boat with.
I should have a boat by then. Do you need a non-boater if you go up there?
Yeah, ideally you sign up with a non-boater.
So I can't fish alone?
No. you have to fish with somebody. And it's random pairings. Tell you what, my experience in the BFL was great. Plus, when you have your own boat, you kind of just like tell the guy, like, this is what we're doing. And, okay.
We're throwing A-rigs all day. and a couple jigs, maybe.
Guggen, I caught that 6-pounder I posted on Facebook yesterday. Oh, dude, I missed that. That's awesome. Congrats.
Oh, yeah.
And boat test. Yeah, so picking up Friday, Saturday, do some final configurations. I've also got an the extension pole for the turret and 0 degree mount for the active target deucer itself. So I'm going to swap those out. I got to put all my gear in it and everything. But then Sunday, we were just talking about that before the show. Probably Champlain. That's what I'm feeling right now. That's for sure. Alec, so what you're saying is on your way back up 91 North on Friday, you hit the Route 5 exit, and I'll meet you at the Oxbow ramp on the river. Well, you have to convince my wife and my kids to join you, or us, because they're coming with me to pick up the boat. We're going to swing by Ben Stacker Shack on the way through. But that's the other good news. Other than that, we're already 15 minutes into this, so without further ado, I will ask one last request for everybody that's here, obviously. Thank you very much, as always. We appreciate you and you spending your time with us here. If you could do us a favor, please, and drop a like on the stream, whether you're watching it here on YouTube or if you're watching it on Facebook, it really, really helps. Other than that, let's get into it. So, the plan for today was to talk about late season techniques, and then spots. So we're going to do a lot of map stuff. And I've already got the maps fired up. It's in the background. I'm going to pull it up shortly here. I'll get rid of the banner down below because it takes up too much space. We'll max out the real estate that we have. We'll cover some good old depth charts. But let's talk about go-to techniques. Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
I like throwing everything.
That you do. It's actually a funny conversation we had right before the show.
Yeah. Jigs, jerkbaits, lipless crankbaits, blade baits are starting to come into play a little bit. Not yet, but they will be. I mean, honestly, I don't really... I still throw everything that I always throw all year. Just my cadence is a little slower. All right, sorry. I'm still thinking like super cold water right now.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing.
It's slowing down. It's either going to be one or the other. It's going to be real fast or it's going to be real slow.
We're on the cusp of it. So even if you wanted to talk about really, really cold, like, I mean, most places are still, bigger bodies of water are still probably 50 to 54, depending upon where you are in the greater Northeast. So that really cold water is not that far behind. We're only like 2 or 3 weeks away from it.
55, 54, 56 area. If you think about it, it's pretty much just like pre-spawn. And they're pretty much going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be eating and eating and eating and eating until it gets really cold and their metabolism starts to slow down and they move into the wintering holes. So reaction baits right now should be working very well. Like jerk baits and chatter baits and spinner baits and glide baits and all those fun moving baits. And then you get to the bottom contact, like jigs, Ned rigs, drop shot. Pretty much all the same stuff, just you got to figure out the cadence that they're biting at.
Ain't that the truth? And that was a big thing. Granted, we were fishing in the river, the Connecticut River on Sunday. It's not like it's anything special. Everybody knows about it. It's probably one of the most hammered holes in the whole state, aside from somewhere on the maybe like Winnipesaukee or something, right? So there's no secrets out there. But when you're fishing current, you really got to find something that, if you're working the bottom, you got to find something that works the bottom at a perfect rate while you're flowing with the same pace of the current. And that, it took us a little bit to kind of figure that out, depending on, when you're trying to worry about depth, you're trying to worry about the speed of the current, you're trying to worry about the size of the bait that you're working with. But what ended up being really killer for me, and while it's really, really good on the river on this past Sunday, it's also deadly effective pretty much everywhere else, like now until April, is just a simple Ned rig. But here's the thing. If I'm going to do it, I want it to be heavier. Typically when I throw a Ned rig, I'm going like 1/20th ounce. This time of the year, I'm going 1/4 ounce, sometimes 3/8 ounce, although I don't have a whole ton of those, so I don't throw a ton of them. But the added benefit to that is it's dual purpose. And I posted a short up about this, both on YouTube and on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere really, where if you get the right Ned head, it also doubles as a Demiki rig. And all those baits are interchangeable. Like Magic Flick from Beast Coast Fishing to me is one of the most versatile baits because it does everything so exceptionally well. You can take one bait and work from a drop shot to a Ned rig to a Damiki rig to a jig trailer. It does all of those things exceptionally well. But I really like about Ned rig because you can, literally in the same drop, you've got a fish that's, I don't know, you're in 25 feet of water, you got a fish that's below you, it's 5 feet off the bottom. You can drop that to about 15 feet, hanging a few feet over its head and just straight Damiki it. As long as you get a nice hook that has that perfect, 90-degree line tie, 90 degrees to the hook shank. And then having that from there, if they don't bite it when you're hanging over their head, you can just drop it. And they'll go down and they'll pick it up off the bottom half the time, or you just leave it there and kind of drag it back. Then there's vice versa. You can just bomb the thing out, drag it. If you're not getting anything, then by the time you get to the boat, then you can just reel it up and hang it under the boat. So as stupid, as simple as it sounds, it's something that's still worth reiterating because of that versatility you can have in something like that. Now you get into the colder water is where we really start to play around with different trailers on a presentation like that. We'll throw a lot of different subtle baits on football jigs, which still some things we don't share, but for the most part, like small. 3 inches or less, like 2.5 inches has really been like the go-to size for us the last few years, especially once that water hits 50 all the way to ice in. And keeping your dressing super simple. You don't want a lot of skirt. Hair, okay, very okay, and even encouraged. And just finding different head styles that allow you to be versatile in how you're going to present that bait is the other half of it. Kind of a lot that was said there at one point, but the gist of it, if we're talking about, I guess, my go-to technique, it's going to be something like a Ned rig or Damiki, like especially something that with one rod, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, depending upon what I'm seeing down there, which is always good. That's certainly the one. You touched on everything. God damn.
Sorry.
Did you leave any stone unturned?
It was quick, but I said it all.
Well, let's go on the other side of the spectrum. I mean, you did say glides for big fish, but I think one of the things that people should not overlook are big swim baits, big soft body swim baits.
And teeny tiny little baits.
Both ends of the spectrum. But no, don't worry about it because everybody's seen it. Miyagi from Beast Coast. Like perfect, bigger, soft body swim bait. That even though the water's still cold, they're still going to go out there and look for a meal plenty of times. And that's a bait that you can throw either on like a weighted belly hook, like a beast hook, or you can throw it on a big old jig head, whether it's a swim jig head or one of the things I really like to do if I can find the right one is throwing on like a 1/2 ounce football jig with like a 5-aught hook.
We were out, it was December, maybe even later in the season. Water temp was like high 30s, low 40s. I was throwing a 3/4 ounce football head with a 5-inch spark shad in like 55 feet of water on the bottom, obviously. First cast with it caught a 4.5 pound smallie. So size does matter, but at the same time, if you're really looking for that bigger fish, they still want a meal. But I feel like the smaller the bait in the winter, the more apt they are to go actually chase it down and eat it. You kind of need to put those bigger baits right in their face.
True.
To eat.
Sorry, I got distracted texting because Thayer's just texted me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely getting the boat Friday.
Okay, cool.
and now how much earlier I get to go now is a hell of a lot earlier.
Cool.
I'm mucho excited.
You taking the day off?
I might end up taking the whole day off now. I was only going to take a half day off, but now I'm going to take the whole. I'm thinking I might take the whole day off. I got to double check what I have for meetings scheduled. Depends on what my boss needs out of me tomorrow too. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh, today's Wednesday.
It is. Reel Northern Bass Talk every Wednesday.
8 o'clock.
At Reel Northern YouTube at your
Your tube.
Anyway, sorry. So you're talking about go really slow or the big baits, you got to throw it right in front of their face half the time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but my God, dude, when they get onto it.
I'm excited now. I just ordered a new bait for this winter, and I'm very excited to throw it.
Elaborate, not just on what you hope to get bit on, but if you're talking, we already started speaking a little bit about the smaller baits. So let's talk about the bigger baits. If you were to talk about a bigger soft body swim bait, what what color and what bait would you really have the most confidence in right now, and how would you want to be fishing it? And
Right now or in colder weather?
no, like right now into the colder weather, because I honest to God am convinced, and I mean at this point I know because I know other people that have done it. Our success, I know plenty of other people have had success with this stuff, so it's not like we're talking out of our ass on this. That, you know, a 4.5 to 6 inch soft body swim bait, dude, they'll still bite that even in really, really cold water.
That's just like what they're gonna eat. Like a 4-inch swim bait is not that big.
No,
I mean,
a Miyagi seems big. It's only 4 3/4
baits, but like over the years, like 4 to 6 inches has not really. I've learned to look at it and be like, that's not even a big bait. They're gonna eat that thing. Like no matter what, they're gonna eat that. If they're biting, they're gonna eat that. But I just picked up. I'm kind of like gonna battle with these two baits. The Defiant 210, and I just picked up HUD 68. I don't know which one's gonna get bit first. But I'm going to fish them evenly throughout the days that we go out there when it's super cold, or even from now until really ice in. I'm going to be fishing them on the bottom for sure. I just don't know. I wish I could put money on it to myself, because I think the Defiant's going to get bit first. I think, but the color of it, that I got the
Huddle,
the Ghost Carp.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to talk about the other
On the
bait
Huddleston, on the Huddleston, I got, I don't remember what it was, Phantom Trout or something like that. So it's still.
Isn't that what I have right there? Or did you get the dark trout?
What, that?
Yeah.
The Defiant? No, the Defiant's the carp.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And the Huddleston is Phantom Trout or something. So it's
my bad.
Translucent.
I swear to God, I'm keeping up.
Yeah, it's a translucent trout. So we will see. We shall see.
If you guys really want to get into the bigger soft body baits, there's a whole host of options that you have out there. But dude, I tell you what, you work that like a jig, low and slow on the bottom, you're gonna get bit by a fish or two. Yeah.
So this is the 210.
I couldn't bring myself to get the bigger one. I wanted the 210, and I have that rigged specifically for this time of the year. I've nail weighted the hell out of that thing, because that was the moderate sink, and it still isn't sinking as fast as I wanted. Oh, wait.
No, the bass one.
The bass one. Oh, okay.
I
thought that one's going to get nail weighted too. Don't you worry.
This is a slow sink, so that's going to take forever to get that. I got the moderate because if I decide to fish it, like swim it, I don't want it like diving down to the bottom, and if I want to just keep it hovering above the bottom. It's going to take a while to get down there, but it's colder weather. The slower the fall rate, they could come up and eat it.
That's true. I got to make mine a little bit heavier than a mod sink, though, I think. Because especially if you get even like a remote tickle of wind, dude, even with spot lock, the wind's going to grab your line, and that slow sink, it's going to pull that along before it goes down.
By the way, we have a bunch of these for sale.
I don't know if we actually can sell them right now.
Really?
With the expos coming up really soon.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Well, we're going to have them at the expos. For the 210, they're going to be $60 a piece, and for the 247, which is that big, they're $100 a piece. And they are nice. Line throughs, like the whole thing. They're line throughs. You guys know how to work a line through.
Yep. So I did see a question from Mike on this topic. Bennett, what is the best retrieve for mag draft? Honestly, you can still work them really fast right now. If you're still in a body of water where they are shallow, in the sense that, like I can tell you in Vermont, there's plenty of places, and there's plenty of places in New Hampshire that offer the same. I'm sure the same can be said for Maine, Connecticut, Mass, like pretty much anywhere, but especially in Vermont, where you have that kind of ring of vegetation around the whole body of water, or just really, really good points with vegetation. And that vegetation ends anywhere from about 12 to 15 foot for the depth. There, even up to last weekend, there's still plenty of fish pushed right up to that outside grass line. And it was weird because trying to fish wicked slow wasn't producing bites, but the moment you got something moving a little bit faster, started to produce. So I think if you were to go out right now and you really want to work a mag draft, and you can get in an area where you can work the outside of whatever vegetation is still out there, which is still always plenty to be found right up till ice in. And you get it on that outside, you could probably work it at a moderate pace. I would typically want to go moderate and slower. Our friend Dennis would go the opposite direction, and it works exceptionally well for him. He'll go moderate to faster. If he's not getting bit, he's just going to go faster and faster and faster. There's two schools of thought to that. This time of the year, like, you really kind of need to fish both ways. I almost feel like you either need to fish at a glacial pace or burn in the damn thing. Mm-hmm. Depends on the mood they're in. Sometimes really, you need to leave it in their face and let them think about it for a while.
Usually isn't like a middle ground there this time of year. I mean, I guess depends on the day, but it's usually, yeah, like you said, it's usually super slow or moderate to fast. And there's no, like, medium between glacial and moderate.
Yeah. Well, all right. We covered, like, super finesse. We covered the big stuff. Other favorite techniques right now, I mean, blade bait.
Jerkbait,
blade bait. Let's talk about jerkbait a little bit more because we've covered two things in the bottom, so let's cover the middle of the water column. Technically, Tamiki is the middle of the water column.
It can be anywhere.
Jerkbait, deep diving crankbaits, I would say, are absolutely in play right now. My deep diving crankbait game is a little shaky in confidence right now. I used to do exceptionally well with it. I was thinking about it actually the other day.
I actually have one hanging from my PC right now.
Dude, I feel like if you had a really good 20-foot diving crankbait right now,
that's what I have.
You could do exceptionally well, especially if you have a body of water that's got really good schools of smelt, alewife, yellow perch, white perch, crappie. Like, really anywhere you can get into those clouds of bait fish and get that crankbait down towards them, they're probably going to smoke it. And if you have something like forward-facing sonar, you can see these fish following it, but they're not committing to it, that's where that deeper diving jerkbait is going to come in. And I honestly want to say that this is probably the better time to have a junior-size jerkbait than a traditional size.
Ooh, sorry, burp.
No, bless you.
Red Bull.
The beauty about a jerkbait right now, too, is that you can cover all of your cadences in one shot. But if I'm fishing a jerkbait right now, I'm typically going to go with Vision 110 plus 1. I don't necessarily care for going to the plus 2 just yet. Tends to, I don't know, there's something about the 110 plus 1 that I had the most confidence in.
I mean, talking smallies, they could be literally anywhere in the water column right now. You just got to, I mean, having forward-facing sonar this time of year is
probably the most beneficial.
Is definitely beneficial because smallies, as you guys know, they roam. They go all over the place. They're kind of pelagic. I mean, they are pelagic fish. They do hold bottom. They do suspend a lot. They do move up into timber. They're just everywhere. Those fish will go anywhere and everywhere there's water and bait. This time of year, they do like to pull off shore some. And having forward-facing sonar will help you figure out what depth you need to be fishing in, whether you're throwing a regular 110, or 110 plus 1, or 110 plus 2, just to get it down to where they are. If they're feeding up and they're down, say 15 feet, you can get away with a 110, like a regular 110, because they'll come up and they'll eat it. Yep.
Or I saw Kevin's comment. Lucky Craft too. Lucky Craft was like all I fished till I found the good gospel that is Megabass. I just have more confidence in my Megabass, but Lucky Craft right behind it. I have two Plano 3700s that are dedicated just to jerkbaits, which is odd for a guy that hated jerkbaits up until about 2 years ago.
Who?
Me.
Oh, and yeah, I always loved them.
One is literally full of just 110s, and the other one is like 3/4 of it is just Lucky Crafts. Lucky Craft makes some phenomenal jerkbaits, and the SP100s have always been my go-to, but those 90s, it doesn't seem like much, but it's just enough of a size difference that I do find that it helps a lot. So that's another go-to size I really like to fish this time of the year when it gets in that colder water.
For shizzle.
You touched on the points already with jerkbait for all the depths, but like cadence.
Cadence is huge.
I feel like we're fishing them a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of learned that cadence is 100% absolutely a thing. A few years back, I mean, geez, that must have been 5 years ago because I was still using the POS.
The SSPOS.
Yeah, my friend Kristen and I went out fishing at a local watering hole, And I was throwing a jerkbait, and I wasn't going super fast, and the water temp was, I didn't have any electronics on this boat. To the touch, it was freezing. It was late fall. I was doing like 2 to 3 twitches and pausing for like 10 seconds in between, and I didn't get bit all day until we got to this one flat, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. And I was like cracking it, pause, reel up the slack, and like I was like beating the shit out of that jerkbait. I ended up catching a 6-pounder, and then I ended up catching that slab crappie, which was a state record. I didn't know it, and I ended up catching like a few more 3.5 pound small largies, and that was just the cadence that they were biting at. So I have learned that you can either go super slow at this time of year or really, really fast. You just got to really play with your cadences to figure out what they're going to bite.
Yeah, especially right now where we're in like that really low 50s to upper 40s. Once you get down to that 45 to 40 degree window, that's where I'm definitely going to be like, you got to slow way down or start to slow down much more often than not. But where we're still kind of up on that higher end of colder water, faster seems to be much more successful for us much more often. And not just this season. This is going back to every season prior to this. So taking into account all of those situations we've been in, faster does definitely seem to be better. If you're looking for like a really clear-cut answer, start with a moderate pace, speed it the hell up after that, give that a shot, and then and only then would I say slow it way the hell down. And even better, if you're in a spot that you already know that's like a really good spot, like high probability of success, I'd start hella fast, then for, I don't know, handful of casts, then go wicked slow for another handful of casts, then maybe try something in the middle. But that's really probably your quickest way to get through it and figure out what they want, specific to a jerkbait.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like square bills and stuff the same way, though. You can go real slow and then pause, and then real slow and then pause. Or you can go real fast with a pause and then move it slow with a pause and then back to real fast. I mean, there's so many different cadences for crankbaits that you can use that you just got to go out there and actually do the work, put the time in, and figure out what they're going to bite.
Yep. All right, it's 8:37. Let's do one more thing for go-to technique for late season fishing that we didn't cover. Did we really establish the blade bait and or lipless crankbait discussion yet?
Haven't really established the history for this year for it. I mean, I did get a few this weekend on a lipless and 35-ish feet.
That you did.
Which was neat.
What did you say a minute ago? Do you want to repeat that, what you said about the lipless?
I don't remember.
What you told Steve.
Oh, it's like a big blade bait.
Yep. It's more lifelike blade bait. It's got volume. It's got
color,
profile. It's got colors.
The color of that lipless is sexy.
Yeah, that was the Nomad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was from Oliver?
Yeah. Well, no, I bought it.
Well, yeah, sorry, but the one that he was posting.
If you guys have seen anything that Oliver's been doing, has been posting about like Nomad design stuff.
Dude, things.
I fell in love with that lipless, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get one. So I ended up getting one for me and one for him. And we went out to the river and smacked them around for a little bit until they stopped pulling current and the bite shut off. And
then they started pulling current again, then the sun came out and the bite shut off.
Yeah, I know. Place sucks. It doesn't. It's
kicking the pants.
But yeah, lipless works. Use it as a blade bait, and it works great.
Jeremy, I saw your question about favorite models and sizes. Was that about jerkbaits or about something else? But while we're waiting for you on that, I do just want to let's touch on silver buddies, because that's like, or blade baits in general. Like you can't not have that conversation when you're talking about colder water. Granted, last year and even the year before, bites for us on those have been really hard to come by. When that was like, oh, perfect, Jeremy, thank you. That was like my go-to for years, and it was so good. And the box I've built out for blade bait selection and tailspins is kind of ridiculous.
Quite extensive.
I've got almost every color you can think of.
Something we don't even fish that often.
No, but
it's
I
like
like to be
cold out.
thorough. I like to be prepared. I will tell you, if you want to get into blade bait fishing and you wanted to keep it super simple, Binskis are my favorite. A half ounce in gold and a half ounce in silver. That's all you need. That is really all you need, and that will cover you for the vast majority of your fishing adventures out there in cold water.
There are some outliers, but it's usually if it's overcast, you go gold. If it's sunny, you silver.
Yep.
I mean, I do the same thing with jerkbaits. If it's sunny out, I'll throw something with some flash and some shine to it, and if it's not sunny out, then I'm throwing something with a little more color on it.
Yep. I don't like to go 3/4 ounce even when I'm fishing really, really deep water because for some reason that just throws them off. I don't get bit on it that much as much as I would hope to and would think I would. You wouldn't think it would make that much of a difference, but I've found that it does, at least my personal experiences. So keep that in consideration. 3/8 and a half ounce, really all you need. I try and go lighter with everything in that I do because I find that it produces a better quality bite for me in general. Again, gold and silver. Here's the other thing I like about the Binskis. Because it has a much more like rounded profile to it versus like the Bass Pro blades or your traditional silver buddies, which are like really long and thin. The Binskis with that broader profile, those treble hooks won't get fouled nearly as much. When you have those kind of long, straight body ones, dude, those treble hooks want to foul up and roll over and catch the body all the time. So that's okay if all you're doing is vertical dropping with them. Then it's not that big of a deal. But when you're going to cast them, then that's where I like the Binskis or anything. What's the other one I was thinking of? There's another company that I think Tamiki makes one. I know Mega Bass, like kind of like you look up any of those, you see exactly what I'm talking about, where it's much more fish profile. You know, it's got a broad back before it tails down. Those are great for casting out at distance. Any other style, all of them are fine for just vertical dropping. It doesn't really matter. If you really want to get crazy with the colors from there, I mean, at that point, it's like literally anything else. It's totally situational. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Vault is another one. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm trying to think. If it's not gold and it's not silver, that's our most productive color. I mean, Perch is kind of an easy go-to. That's probably my next productive color. But outside of that, for out of the norm,
Spro Carbon Blade, Brian says, are good.
Oh, there you go. I would say it's going to sound weird. It's almost like a herring kind of color. It's like blue and black. There's a lot more blue and a little bit of a black line on it. But I don't know, like really, really dark colors always tend to do much better for me in colder weather regardless, so it makes sense for me, at least from that perspective, but it doesn't look like anything. It's strange, but that works really well. I've tried white. I've had moderate success. I've got Fire Tiger. That seems to be very situational. I've got rainbow trouts. I've got like literally everything. And then I've got some like really, really good like pumpkin seed and bluegill looking ones on tailspin models, and those all tend to be much more situational. Again, at that point, it just becomes like literally anything else. Some days they want kind of a perchy thing. Some days no, not really. I want something kind of bluegilly. I just want something really wild. I want a white. Dude, if you only want two colors, gold and silver. You don't have to overthink it. If you want to talk about cadence really quick, though, I like dragging it.
I do like a quick like, brrr, and then let it sit on the bottom.
And it works 99% of the time. But so does they're doing the same thing, but
until
like
you do
drag.
this. Brrr. Oh, come on.
Dude, there's a golden rule in bass fishing. If you have one, you have none. If you have two, you have one. Unless, with the exception of when it comes to blade baits. If you have three, you have one. If you have five, you have... Sorry, if you have three, you have none. If you have five, you have one. Because, dude, you're bottom bouncing the thing almost all the time. You're going to lose these damn things. So just keep that in mind. I did see a couple of comments I wanted to...
I lost one this weekend.
I think we both did, actually. I did. Yeah, I lost one of my Binskis. That bothers me.
I don't know which one I lost.
Daniel did ask, anyone ever tried the hover rig here in New England? I wanted to. I still haven't done it yet.
DJ does.
Yes, he does. And he's been pretty good. Freedom Fishing. You guys ever add extra weight to your jerkbaits, crankbaits, or hard-bodied swim baits? Yes, yes, and yes.
I don't.
For some models of jerkbaits, yes, to help them suspend better. For crankbaits, absolutely.
Well, you figured that thing out.
All you're doing is slowing down how fast it comes back up when you're talking about a crankbait. And it makes all the difference in the world some days.
Hard body swim baits, No, because if I buy them situational, if I'm gonna if I want to fish it deeper, I'll buy a faster sinking glide bait, or, I mean, big hard body swim baits to me are glide baits.
Yeah.
That's all I throw. So
You're not weighting them. You're just using them as they are.
pretty much,
You buy them with
if
the
I
fall
want
rate
it to
you
go
want.
down, I will buy the one with the best fall rate for the situation.
Damn right.
Like, I just bought the OG one, which is a 7-ounce, depth's 250.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
I mean, it's only a half-ounce bigger than.
It's still a big boy.
I know. I
Damn.
love them.
You what?
I love them.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I end up buying. Wait, do I have the one? Yeah, I only got the one.
I told
I gotta buy
Barry
another
today. I was like, dude, I just bought a whole bunch of these. He's like, yeah, I know.
one. Dan did ask, you throw a forward-facing sonar on weed lines or rock piles? Yeah, but no. Certainly have done it a few times.
What?
I don't like looking at the screen. If are we using forward-facing sonar to throw at weed lines or rock piles?
I usually 360.
Pretty much. I don't like staring at the screen if I can help it. We got to where we are without using it. So there have absolutely been a few days where we've used it extensively and just stared at it all day, come home with a sore neck, and it was fun. But, don't fix it if it ain't broke. And why get away from what's worked so well from us? We know where we're at. We know what we want to throw. Might look at it a time or two just to kind of be like, get an idea. Like, dude, are they even coming out for this? But other than that, like, it's just kind of quick verify. Yep, okay, no, what we thought is working, or Jesus Christ, what we thought is not working. So we got to change. And we just go back and just kind of use the 360 for everything, line up, make sure our casts are good, and go with it. Because I just want to put all of my time, attention, and focus into the actual act of fishing and not staring at the screen too much. We'll see how much that may change this year as I continue to try to find that next step for getting that bigger fish much more consistently. But as it stands now, rarely stare at it. Still looking through to make sure I didn't miss anything else in the chat because there's actually a really good question. Yeah, Jamie's perfect, spot on. Less is more when it comes to blade baits. I mean, really with a lot of things, but especially blade baits, less is more, baby. Actually, Jamie, on that point, Epic Eric, I saw he posted your hollow tip worm there, the HTW, and he was showing it Ned Head and Demiki rig, and I've used it for a couple things, drop shot, Ned rig, but I haven't tried it on a Demiki yet. I saw him post and I was like, ooh, that looks good.
It should work real well.
I need to order more. Actually, if Dan has some in stock down there at Ben's Tackle Shack, then I'll probably just pick up some while I'm down there on Friday. I need drop shot weights. I need a few Ned rig hooks because I know I'm really low on my heavy ones. And I'm down to my last bag of green pumpkin on the HTWs. May get some other sexy colors while I'm there. Why not? Jeremy, that's why I buy blade baits in 3s. That's why I buy them in 5s. Dude, I go through so many so fast, it's not even funny.
Hi, Brian.
And then Dan, Demiki vaults are sweet as well, but we found more Binsky fans locally in New England. Yeah, those Demiki vaults are really nice, but it's really hard to beat the Demiki. The Binsky. All right, we've talked enough about baits. Let's talk about maps. Add to stage. Hang on. Gonna hide that. Down here in the corner, hi. All in the corner. What the hell are we even looking at? I didn't even remember what I picked here for a map. So, all right, we talked about techniques and stuff. Let's talk about areas. I believe I'm on Lake Menominee down in Mass. I don't know why. I just started zooming in, and that's where my mouse went.
That's where we are.
By all means, if you want to use that for a basic example to start, go for it. It's not a bad place to use as an example. One, because the depths are good. This is actually a body of water that we ourselves would potentially fish this time of the year. And two, we've actually fished here quite a bit. We haven't been back here in 5 years, but we actually fished, I think you and I fished 2 or 3 tournaments there together. And boy, we didn't do well in any of them. But we had fun. I mean, it's a cool place. It's got a little bit of everything. And actually, you know what? This is actually a perfect example to start because it's a tweener. That's certainly not what you would call a kettle pond, but it's not a big, deep glacial lake either.
No, definitely not.
That's a tweener. So if we're talking right now, everything we experienced last weekend and really the weekend before, because water temps haven't changed too much, and now what we're expecting this weekend, where your starting points are smallies and largies. And there are both in there.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking like...
I got to refill my water while you have fun with this for a minute.
I'm thinking... there's a lot of spots you kind of want to move back up into those quick transition areas, but with something kind of like this right here. It's a fast drop, and there's a plateau here. A lot of times those fish will move in and out of here and along this stuff here, searching for bait. And a lot of times they just like to hang out right in these areas right here. Where the oh boy, oh god. Let's find another one. Something where it likes to come down, plateau off, and then drop again. They're always really good spots. Or where was that other spot I saw? Right in here. That really steep bank right here, and there's a little flat here. It's not much, but it's enough for those fish to hold up. Same as right in here, in this section here. This whole area, I would actually probably start right in this whole area right here. Maybe we should go there this weekend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. This spot here, I would probably first pick up a jig and hit all these little pockets. All these little pockets. If I start getting them here, they're most likely going to be up in here. I'll throw a jerkbait up in here. I'll throw a crankbait. I'll throw a glide. I'll throw all that type of stuff up in there. But jig, drop shot, blade baits in areas like this here where it drops off fast and it kind of plateaus and it's close to deeper water.
You know what I forgot to do? Sorry, can you click comments over there? I can't see the chat.
I can't see anything.
It's behind the camera. Over right. Yeah, that
there
one.
it is.
Thanks.
That spot looks really good.
Mark, yes, that is the lake that is half in New Hampshire, half in Mass.
And you got to pay like $25 to get onto it.
Yeah, not a bad ramp, but it is not free. That's for sure. Technically public, not really public.
I'm trying to find. Wasn't there a spot?
That's down near the dam.
Yeah, not really. Man, I don't know. 13. What does this come up? It does come
Mark
up.
said, "F that."
What?
For the price.
Oh. Here. Dad, you drive. I don't really know this place that well.
All right. Well, no, but you don't need to know it that well.
I mean, you're right. I don't.
I want you to remember what we did in that 2-day tournament.
What 2-day tournament?
Friggin' the Berkshire.
Oh. Yeah.
Remember
Well,
that?
I mean,
that's all.
I would start right in here because it's close to deep water. There's a quick drop off. There's a little bit of a plateau there. Jigs up in here, blade baits, Ned rig, drop shot, all those bottom contact baits I would work all along in here. And once you get up into here, you start throwing jerk baits and stuff like that. Same thing down in here. Well, that's a hole. But up in here, that's 9 feet to 15,
Yeah.
drops off to 15 feet, right down into 20 something feet there.
Yeah, you got that little bit of a flat kind of in the middle right next to that deep hole too.
Right, and there's a deep hole here. You got a flat here. All these kind of areas where it goes a little deeper and it starts to flatten off, like plateau off, those fish will stack right up on top of that. Oh, hello. I'm using my left hand with a mouse. It's weird. See in here.
Yeah, even there, different times of the day, having that really deep hole, really, really, really sharp contours, like that's high probability area.
Like all around this should be good. Off this here, right in there, honestly. That's probably a really good spot right here. I think I already said that earlier.
Yeah, and using the scale, like I was able to see the scale at the same time you were over there. That flat is pretty big. It's like 70 feet. So there's plenty of spot right at that 12, 13 foot depth.
It's like a 90
that they could really hang.
It's like a 90 foot.
Oh yeah, okay, it's even bigger.
So that's actually pretty good size.
Plenty of spot for spot for them to hang and dwell. All right, well there you go. See, there's your schmedium lake to cover for spots. Kevin, I hate lakes that do that.
Just go.
Where are you going, Champ?
We're just gonna go to Champlain.
All right, let's cover the big body of water.
Let's just pick a spot here. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit.
Big body of water, insane amount of deep water around it. Here's the thing. I'm curious if you're going to agree with me on this. I mean, you probably will. I don't see why you won't. When you're getting to this late in the time of the year, get away from those offshore humps. For the most part, get towards mainland points. Mm-hmm. And in this case, like, if you're talking about Champlain, everything like in the middle, North Hero, South Hero, I would consider those mainland points. Even though they're still islands, I would still consider them mainland points.
I mean, this is dropping off from that like 15-foot range down into 40 feet.
Oh, yeah, but
they will sit.
That's like a whole ledge for a long ways, right at that ideal depth.
All along this. They got a short run up to shallow water and a short run down to super deep water.
Yeah, that's the main current coming through there, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, two different schools of thoughts on that. One, potential for it to deliver and replenish more bait fish. High. Also, the potential for that to be some of the coldest water you'll find in the lake, also very high. And in this case, I know that for a fact that's going to be some of the coldest water you'll find.
Yeah, because it's freezing out there.
Yeah, well, it's like 400 feet deep in the middle of that friggin' chasms, and then the current's just coming through, so it's chilly.
It gets that deep in there?
Not there, but I think further down, yeah, like it gets hella deep out there, man.
Bigger water. I mean, if you can figure out a pattern, Jesus. If you could figure out a pattern, a deep water pattern, like say, where the hell was that?
I think it was.
Where's the gut?
Were you that far up?
Yeah,
right there.
Say you find a pattern where
Easy there, Spaz.
Where they're stacked, huh?
It's easy there, Spaz.
Yeah, I know.
Mark,
where
we're
they're
going there Sunday.
stacked on this area here, you could travel to almost any area that is like that, and you should be able to get them. As long as you keep it in the same depth range, you should be okay. Like what is this?
Same depth range, and then same
okay.
distance relative to that same deep water too. Like honestly, that's
this spot here looks really good. I mean, that plateau's off there. I mean, it's not super deep.
See, I feel like that'd be really good, really like late spring,
right?
More than anything, only because there's not enough of a consistent plateau at that slightly deeper water. When we're talking smallies this time of the year, we tend to find most of our success in that 25 to anywhere is broad from 25 to 55 feet, but really like that 35, 40 foot, 35, maybe 45 is like by far the most consistent. If you can find areas that have, good contour coming down to that, but then a wide area that offers that depth, like that 35 to 45 is kind of our magic range.
Like even in here is a good contour line. It's not much, but it's just enough where they'll hold up on this. I mean, you see that bump right there, but that's also in 100 and, is that like 80 feet? It's a little deep.
Yeah, it's too deep.
But, I mean, if this was in like 30 to 40 feet, that would also be a really good spot because there's probably rocks on that.
That's probably all ledge there.
Yeah, probably is.
Go straight across the other side, because I actually just saw what I think looks like a good, kind of.
Right up in here.
Yeah, you can see right there, right where your mouse is. That's, that's even still dropping off. That's like a 9-10 foot drop. There's no like consistency for a wide range of a consistent depth where maybe it's like a 2 to 3 foot change. Everything I'm seeing here it's just constantly dropping. Like that could be good because you get a good size 30-foot hump off of that, but there's still a lot of contour there. But I would still consider that a spot worth looking into.
There's so many spots on this goddamn lake, dude.
Keep right there, off the point on the right side. How deep is that?
64.
No, come back down a little bit. Right there, 43. Go out to the right a little. See? That looks a little bit better because going from 43 to 50,
where are you?
now even like 39 feet. Let me see this for a second. Mouse, oh my God, you went all the way over there. There we are.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah.
This dwell at 40 feet, 41 feet, but if you follow the contour lines along, yeah, it still drops off a little fast, but this isn't too bad because you kind of got the.
No, it isn't. That's like 500 feet.
Nah, I mean, really, if you look at it, the scale's way over to the side. I'm sorry, but it takes 90 feet to go down 2 feet. So actually, yeah, no, like that is actually a pretty good dwell. And if they are pushed out a little bit deeper, then you have that added benefit of this prolonged submerged point right here, which offers
you
a
got
ton of water in that
deep ass
49 to
hole
52.
right there too.
Yep, deep hole there, still with that high side, all against that really deep water. So like that's an area I would absolutely look for if you're talking big body water, you're looking for smallies out deep. Like that's definitely a good spot. Like this is it. This is literally all we do every time we go out and look. I just realized we're looking at the Cumberland Head. So actually knowing about that, I would absolutely swoop in here to the inside and get away from the current a little bit. Now this is all a little bit deeper, but look at that consistency and depth. All in this area, it's certainly would be worth looking at, especially right in here where it's kind of providing these current breaks. Although the current flows from south to north on this, so those are all good spots. If I were to keep going further north, I get the current that splits, but yeah, oh my god, right here. Oh, I know where this is. That's where I was catching all those big smallies during the camp. At that point, the end of the day, every day.
I sat on that point right there for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just watching fish.
Oh, dude, it was nuts. I caught a tank smallie on there every day. And it pissed me off because I drove right by it for my tournament.
I had a whole school of smallies that are probably all 4+ pounders. I was sitting, where was I sitting? I was sitting here, like right off of that.
Yep.
And casting up over this, and it was just bringing it back, and they were following it, but nothing would commit.
You know what I found?
Sitting there in freaking 3 to 4 footers. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal. You know what made this spot really good, though, at that time of the year? And actually, it's something worth considering even right now. The grass. And then because the current was coming up and ripping around, and you had essentially this current break, per se, right here in this area, and they were all, in that week in particular, like 20-ish feet, 20, 25 was like a magical number. Every spot we fished where you had a good line of vegetation that broke out to some sporadic vegetation, but then like really good clean rock all around it. Oh my God. Literally every spot we hit like that was consistent. This would actually be, I would absolutely be worth looking into. And I'd start right here on this steep break on the outside of that. And I would just follow it along on that 30-ish foot line around here and poke around there to take a look.
And then where I lost
I would just
absolute giant fish. I have no idea what it was. It was right there.
Right up here?
Yeah, I don't even know what it was. I caught a walleye to cast before on a hair jig. And then the next, like I said, the next cast, I hooked into something and it would have spooled me if it didn't break me off.
Oh, that wasn't there. That was here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That was right here. So I will tell you all right now. Right here, I lost one of the biggest smallmouth of my life. When I was out scouting for that BFL. And I didn't feel bad about it. Because I didn't break him off. I did sting him, but I didn't break him off. He just came unpinned. Right at the boat. I was like, okay.
Well, good.
Just keep note of that. And went back. He wasn't there. I didn't expect him to. But yeah, like, here's another spot. Boom. Like really big, long stretch of consistent depth. All right. Well, that's a big lake. That's for damn sure. I'm just curious because I saw they were talking about it. Both Kevin and Mark down near Port Henry, huh? It's where it's like really, really deep. Port Henry's, oh boy. I'm just curious. That
is not deep.
That is not deep. What's he talking about? Nope. Way further north. It's got to be through here. Yep, there we go.
Holy Christ.
I know there's an area I thought it was like almost 400 feet at its deepest.
It's 312 right there.
300.
Lakers.
Dude, yeah, look at this.
Wow.
258 feet. That's a
feet
literal
deep.
cliff face.
200 feet from shore. It's 200, almost 300 feet deep.
Dude, I want to go out there just to check that out. It's funny. I was watching. If you guys follow Bass University here on YouTube, they started doing this series called friggin' hell. What the hell was it called? Now I forgot. Bucket List Trips, and it was Pete Kluzak and Mike Iaconelli, and they did. I've only watched day one so far. Champlain. And I think they just posted this last week, and Iaconelli was talking about how he's convinced you're out there in that area of the lake. There are schools of smallmouth that have literally never been caught before, and some of them probably have never seen a bait. And I wholeheartedly agree with that, just because when you really understand the sheer size of this body of water and
It's
why they
massive.
call it the sixth Great Lake. 250,000 acres. It's 115 miles long for like uninterrupted navigable water. Like it navigable water. Yeah. It's stupid. It's insane. But yeah, I'm really curious. That's too steep.
No, I just stopped.
Oh. Well, hang on. Well, let's take it back. Let's go to New Hampshire.
Ew.
We are based in New Hampshire. You know what? I don't care about
Let's go to
Squam
Squam.
Lake anymore. So I'll give you guys
Look how much contour there is.
big body of water. Oh, sorry, Dan. Spy baiting good right now? Can be. Not something I like to do. Confidence isn't quite there
If
anymore.
you like
but
losing
can
fish,
be.
you can use those.
So this is actually a really good example to go over for a body of water this time of the year, Squam Lake. I haven't even zoomed in yet, and you can see just how insane the difference in contours and depths there are here on this body of water.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like, it's honestly one of the reasons why I love fishing this lake so much is because of all the different crazy places you can fish, all different times of the year. But for somebody that's maybe not that well versed in fishing this time of the year, you got to a body of water like this, like, your chances are a little bit better, bigger, deeper. There's a ton of fish here. Really, really good amounts of bait, too, especially smelt. So chances of success out here are fairly high, but you also have to break down 6,500 acres of water pretty fast, and it's not a big bowl with just a bunch of really good-looking points. Literally every square inch of this place looks juicy. So how the hell do you go about making a decision on this? There can be fish found in the middle, but I still stand that for your most consistent bet for success, get to the main lake points. And for those that saw it, and it's funny, I asked my buddy when he made the thumbnail to hide the name of the lake, but we pulled the thumbnail from Squam Lake. I just don't care. This one, everybody fishes Squam. There's no secrets here. This right here, if you wanted to go to Squam, you go up by Hogue Island. I know I said main lake points, but this counts. Because the way you come off of the mainland up here to this island, the way it breaks, to me, this still counts as mainland point. It's an island, but it's not really. This is a phenomenal example of a great spot to start. High probability of success. Really deep water on both sides. You are right next to the main lake, which also does offer a ton of other different contours and depths and stuff out there. But look at the size of this plateau on this point. And it's at like one of the best depth ranges too. It's about, tell me. Nope, that's not going to help me. 20, yeah, it's like 25 feet right at the top, but I would prefer to see that close
That
to
is
30.
deep enough, and you can
Deep
work
enough.
all the way down that point.
Yeah, dude,
can
left,
work
right, all the way down
all
off
the way
the end.
down
Like, that's
this,
got
up in here, this little
everything.
pocket here. They should be crawling all over this.
I can tell you that they are.
Okay.
When I would fish there late in the year, it was one of my favorite spots.
Oh, neat. So he just gave you some juice.
I did. I rarely, I mean, Jesus Christ, how often do we do this? We just straight up give it away.
Yeah, you definitely did.
But you know what the benefit of that, though, is? Like, it further illustrates everything that we talked about prior to this at every other spot. Like, why is it good? Why do we think it's going to be good? Because history has told us repeatedly that it's good.
I mean, look at it. It looks so good.
Yep. So from there, you can kind of take that and replicate that setup in other areas. And as Scott said, bring a spare proper 3 too. Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to Squam Lake, you've never been there, my God, please go slow and pay attention to your map because the amount of rock piles out there are scary.
Look, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, another.
Dude, it's nuts. Like,
They're
you're running out in the
everywhere.
middle of the lake and you don't think there's going to be something there that'll bust you up, but oh yeah, no, dude, they will. It's nutty.
There's huge boulders there, like house-sized boulders all over the place.
Yep. Steve, I saw your question on live. I will answer that shortly. I just want to go over a little bit more here on Squam Lake. So continuing with that same theme, like I know this is kind of an area that,
Yeah, it's the same type of thing.
yeah, maybe, but it's this time of the year, like this is kind of, it looks good, right? It looks really promising.
It's a little too mellow.
Yeah, a little too mellow, a little too shallow too. Like I want to see this dwell right here. This, I can't zoom in any further. this is a little too shallow for me. It's a little too small. But this area around it could also be really good. They don't have to be on the contours. One of the other things that we found that's really successful for us at this time of this year, these overlooked areas. Like this area right here, this is 34 feet. This entire flat could be loaded with them. And you want to go look at these contours because they're obvious and they're easy to set up on and figure it out. Small area of water to break down. But it's also highly pressured areas. This dead zone in the middle also happens to offer like that magical depth. So this is another area, like if you're not seeing them on this, just slide out a little bit and try out here in these flats. And that can be said, the same can be said for any other spot similar to this. The last thing is you find the bait fish, you're going to find the bass. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Oop, wrong one. Hang on. Steve. You know what? We're going to, any questions you guys have on maps, start asking now. I'll pull this back up, but for the meantime, I'm going to hide it so we can put us back up here and I can answer some questions. And Steve did ask, what live image are you running and what's your favorite? I can only answer the first part. Andrew's going to have to answer the second part because he's, at this point, much more versed on different ones than I am, though I do have experience in all three. I am currently running Lowrance's Active Target 1, and I like it. I'm very, very happy with it. It's not the best, but it's damn good.
No, it works it works great.
Damn right it does.
It works great.
Yep. What is your favorite?
Like the LVS 34. Live scope. Garmin live scope. It is the best. You're paying for it, but it is the best. The more affordable would be the Active Target for sure, and Mega Live is not. If you know how to use it and you've had it for a while and you understand it, cool. We used it and I couldn't figure it out. And then it got on the boat with TJ and he had live scope, Garmin live scope, and It was like night and day between all three of them.
I think Garmin is still tops, and that's like for their standard live scope because they have two different versions. Like your standard freshwater version, then they do have a saltwater version, which gets a hell of a lot more range. Which
62, I think, or something like that.
I wanted to look into that because I had that thought the other day. Are they just feeding in a ton more power into it, and like it's just that, or is the cone angle also?
It's saltwater. It's bigger. The frickin' transducer on the thing is like this big.
Okay,
it's massive.
So, but what I was thinking about was. And I can find the answer. I just need to look it up. I haven't had the time to look at it. I'm going to look it up after the show because I'm genuinely curious. Is the cone angle on that transducer any better than their LSV34? Because if it is,
I don't know anything about that saltwater one. I just know we have one at the shop.
I tell you what, if that cone angle is a lot broader, then I want it just for that.
I don't think it
range
is.
Be damned. I don't think so. I think it's just they're feeding a ton more power into it, so they're getting much more range out of it, but I bet you that cone angle is still the same.
I don't know for sure, but I don't think the cone angle is much different.
They should have that post on the website. I'm going to have to look it up.
No, I don't know.
I wonder if someone's going to beat me to the punch in the chat. I tell you, if that cone angle is wider, because in theory... No, it's going to be narrower, if anything, because that's going to really help get you your power and range. But I think they're just feeding it more power than anything. Probably more power, and they shorten up the cone angle a little bit. That's how you're going to get that range. But if they could take that same principle and feed that much power into it instead, 500 feet is awesome, but I think a standard cone angle, pretty much all the lives for freshwater applications, is about 12 degrees. If you could take that saltwater version for Garmin and give me a freshwater version where my max range is still only 150 feet,
but you got 15
degrees? You give me like a 20-degree cone angle? Dude,
yikes.
Take my money now. I will be that guy that throws 3 of them on my boat. Because that opens... Dude, that how much more you can see and how much less fickle you have to be to try and line up your fish at 100 feet out to really line them up. Like, oh my God, it just makes your life 10 times easier.
We were talking about what we want to put on Steve's new boat.
Oh, God, already?
I don't know how many targets he's going to put on there. I was like, we should just line the outside of your boat with them.
Just create one massive live image. Thing's going to levitate.
Yeah, the LVS 62, I believe, for the transducer is $2,000.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Kevin just said, I got good with it, but you seriously have to F with your settings. Might go to Garmin. You should. You just should.
You should. You should absolutely do that, and you should bring it to BFE and have us install it.
I saw this. Alec, say you go to Candlewood and you fish all these areas you're speaking of and have one measly bite all day. Do you A, pave it, B, admit you suck and sell the boat, or C, stock it with more carp species? There's another comedy but down below. Forgot to say I'm asking for a friend. Him and then another guy I know, Greg, did not have a good time on Candlewood earlier this year. And I didn't know Alec had gone. I only saw Greg's post. And I said, dude, don't sweat it because that's a tough lake to crack anyway. It's huge. And the amount of different ways that you can tackle it, because there's so much good shallow stuff and so much good deep stuff, it's like, how do you make that decision? There's big largies and big smallies. But what's really changed on that body of water is I don't know if it's the towns collectively or lake association or whatever, have made it a point to kill the vegetation there. And they've drawn down the lake significantly the last 2 winters. And first year, so-so success. This last winter, significant success in killing off a lot of that vegetation. That's changed things. So it's a funky fall. We haven't had very consistent weather like pretty much all year. Things just really haven't fallen into place the way they typically would. We had that really, really late warm-up, that crazy warm weather. So now, not only are water temps way higher than they should be, but they started to trend in the right direction before we had that 2-week warm period and then just threw everything off. There's a lot of variables going into it. If you're out there struggling, one, I really think it's too early to go out there and really experience the best for what that place has to offer. And two, don't feel bad. There's so many different things that have happened to that lake over the last 2 years that, like, how do you even possibly wrap your head around that unless you're out there every day?
Right. Pave it.
Pave it. Hey, I've officially crossed off my lakes to go to unless I'm going with somebody that knows it well. I got humbled big time. Couldn't even find fish in the graph, let alone catch anything. I think if you go back when it's like 45 degrees, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. That's for damn sure. But there's also a ton of other different bodies of waters out that way that are a lot smaller that are like really, really good. So, keep that in mind. There is that body of water that our good friend there, Mr. Jerry, told us about for the tank smallies.
We should go there this weekend.
Dude, the only issue is I got to talk to him about that ramp because I know it did not look friendly. And we'll have to find out if there's any regulations on it.
Fish are friendly.
I know. Listen, there's 2 lakes I have in mind for my big boat this weekend. I don't want to go out. I don't want to run it.
That's true. It's also gonna be
I want to open that bitch up.
Let's do it. Whatever.
And I'll let you drive it too. I can't wait.
All right.
I'm so excited. I don't know, man. I think we covered a lot.
We covered some.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Same.
I think I tore something.
I rolled my ankle at work yesterday. And I woke up this morning and I couldn't move my foot like this.
Oh, Jesus.
I had to stretch it. I'm fine now, but it still hurts.
How the hell did you do that?
I piece of shit Lund. No, it was one of those big multi-species boats, and I stepped off the deck, and my ankle just went, nope.
You have done too much to me over the years. I give up on you.
I suck.
All those years of skating.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. I feel every joint in my body now.
Yeah.
If you're skateboarding still and you're in your 30s, congratulations, you're amazing. I can't do it anymore.
And on the other side of that, maybe you should consider stopping while you're ahead.
Because when you're 33 and 32, how old was I? And you break your wrist, it doesn't like to heal fast. I still feel it every single day.
My back will never be the same because I rode stupid 21-inch BMX bike for way too long in my life. And when I was, 25, 26, and I went get x-rays because I jacked up my back. and doctor's like, you have like nothing left for discs down low, right? It's like,
Hey, me too.
no, I didn't. It's like, cool. The lower back of a 60-year-old in my 20s. Gee, I wonder what that could be. Probably hunched over that stupid bike and all the crashes I took over the years.
Yeah, dude, Jesus.
It was fun, but boy, I tell you, it puts the miles on real fast.
The mix between skateboarding, snowboarding, motocross, biking, mountain biking, all this hockey, lacrosse, football.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not in a wheelchair still. Ugh.
Oh, Alec, on that point, because I saw Mark recommend that, you said you were dragging the Beast Coast slow flow, which, amazing, by the way, on the football head. Every point I could find from Squance to Allen's Cove, should have been swimming it. And I know hindsight 2020 and all that, but when we were out this past weekend, couldn't buy a bite dragging that swim bait. Could not buy a bite. But the moment I started, like, power dragging it to the point where I was basically swimming it with, like, quick pauses, that was the only time I got bit on that thing. Or I had that Ned rig, and it literally never stopped. We're going with the current. Corner out's head was perfect for 25 feet, and it was just, I could feel it just tick, 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 tick as we were going. Never stopped. Current was moving. And I lit him up at one point. I got into a good little streak. So, yeah, just that's the other side of it. Got to move faster. If you picked it up off the bottom and just slow rolled it a couple feet off the bottom, probably would have had a little bit more success. Yeah, and then Kevin, I know you said you tried to go out and do that on Champlain with those 4-foot rollers. So the fish are just stupid. Got it. There you go. On that note.
I hate them, but love them at the same time.
Ain't that the truth? All right, before we go, everybody that's still here, thank you very much. I hope that you found this helpful or at least enjoyable and entertaining. Either any of the combo of the above makes me happy. Before you go, do me a favor. You haven't done so yet. Please drop a like on the stream. I did see one more question from Steve, Demiki or Hovershot. Demiki, only because I haven't tried the Hovershot yet, and I have absolutely killed them on a Demiki rig, and I look forward to doing even more. And I tell you what, I'm going to have it tied on this weekend, just like I did this past weekend, the weekend before that. It is Demiki season, my friends, and you can catch some big fish doing that. So Demiki all the way. And Magic Flick from Beast Coast Fishing is one of many, many baits that you can do this with. But I tell you, it's really, really hard to beat.
What?
That's all. Magic Flick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have a whole wall of Magic Flicks over there.
Literally, there's
probably a pile of baits up there I didn't even put on the hooks yet.
There's a lot of bags.
I need to replenish some soon. Okay, we're done. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you. Your turn.
We will see you guys next week. As always, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/ReelNorthernBass. I fucking nailed it.
Good job.
We'll see you guys next week.
Have a great night, everybody.